Closing the orgasm gap. Hello, darling. How are you?
I am well.
I've missed you.
I know.
We haven't done this for a while. have we?
No.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Kirsten Hunter. This is my gorgeous Kirsten Coggan. Not that I own you, but
You do right now for the next 30 minutes or so.
Let's do that.
You've got me locked in.
And we get together and we kind of chew the fat, don't we?
Yes, and we haven't seen each other for a long time.
I know.
So we're doing a fair bit of chewing.
We are. It's great. Missed you terribly. And so I bring up a psychology area that is kind of hot and heavy and really frequently brought up in session, in clinical session. And then we get to talk about it and it's nice to kind of like throw it between us, basically. Hey?
What are you saying? I simplify it. Put a lighter tone on that heavy topic stuff.
No, you valuably share.
Yes.
And we get to flesh it out, and that's really, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So closing the orgasm gap.
What the hell is that?
Have you ever heard that phrase?
No.
Yeah, I know, right? It is incredible how often I spend today. I had a session with a young man today.
You're going to say, today I had an orgasm.
Side issue. But no, today with a young man, we're talking about the orgasm gap today. It comes up all the time. And you know what? In session, people kind of like they lean in and they're all ears and they want to hear everything because this is not common knowledge, but it affects everybody. And I'm not doing a promo of a book, but I am.
Because you've written like 3,000 of them.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm working on one that I've written and I'm just sort of shaping it up now, and it's called Closing the Orgasm Gap. And I'm writing it because it's an area that almost infuriates me that this knowledge isn't common knowledge, but it's a common problem.
Well, what is it? What is the orgasm gap?
Okay. Are you ready? How long does it take on average for a man to orgasm?
How would I know?
I'll tell you, 4 to 6 minutes.
Yep.
How long on average does it take for a woman to orgasm?
I'm going to say 8 to 12 minutes.
10 to 40 minutes.
40?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's the gap, the discrepancy between the two sexes.
It gets better. Men, as in you could almost say all men, experience orgasm via penetration or some sort of stimulation of the penis, yeah? Mm-hmm. Whereas 80% of women experience orgasm through clitoral stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got one team playing tennis, the other team playing soccer, right? And they're supposed to play together and they achieve different ends. It doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, and so people don't know this. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So basically, if we think about sex, historically, sex is penetration.
Yes.
Yeah. Which actually means it's sex for men because men experience orgasm through penetration.
Yes.
Only 20% of women do.
Okay.
So the other 80%, they experience orgasm through clitoral stimulation predominantly, a few other things, but predominantly. And so basically we've got a massive, massive gap in how you reach orgasm and how long it takes to reach orgasm.
Yep.
So the stats are really scary. The stats are that if you are a heterosexual male or a homosexual male, you'll reach orgasm quite nicely. If you are a lesbian woman, then you will reach orgasm quite nicely. If you are a heterosexual woman, so a woman with a man sexually, then it's not looking too good.
Well, that's a bit of a stuff up on Mother Nature's behalf, isn't it?
I don't think men and women are compatible. I mean, seriously, you get two men together, they're kind of after the same thing. Two women together, they're after the same thing. Men and women, doesn't work.
You're right,
I know.
I've never thought about it.
That's why I'm writing the book.
Right, let's expand on that.
Okay, so here's another fun fact. You can actually look at a woman's anatomy, her body, and you can work out if she's in the 20% or not.
What?
It's true. It's true. It's
what are you looking at?
True. Okay, so when a woman experiences orgasm from penetration, And we really have to talk about the vulva and the vagina, please.
Yeah, that's the biggest episode for me and my friends, was the one that we said the word vulva in several times.
By the way, everybody, I think this is our anniversary.
It is.
It is. While we're talking about vulvas and vaginas, let's throw that in, isn't it? We're 1 year.
Yes, 1 year.
1 year.
We've been potting for.
Oh.
You'd think we'd have it all down pat.
You'd think we'd have a champers to celebrate. We had a coffee.
We had
it's
a
not
warm
quite.
coffee. Awesome.
We did. We put water in it so we could scull it.
Yep.
Classy.
Anything with you is a celebration, Kirsten.
So
back to
where were we? Vulvas, vaginas. Before that, okay, the group that are the 20% that experience orgasm through penetration, and that quite simply is the how close the clitoris is to the opening of the vulva.
That makes sense.
I know. It's all about geography.
So that there's clitoral stimulation while the
Correct.
penetration is happening
Correct.
with the vulva.
Correct. And when I say vulva, people traditionally are thinking vagina. Yeah. So, we've got all the nerve endings on the outside, which is the vulva, right? And that's where women experience orgasm.
Because those of our listeners that listen religiously will automatically understand how important the vulva is for that, because we've discussed this before.
Yes. The women who have more nerve endings than men. Yeah, I know. Can't waste them. So, so basically, women do not experience orgasm through penetration. They experience it when the clitoris is stimulated whilst doing penetration.
Okay.
And if the clitoris is close to the opening of the, I hate to say vagina because that's what people think, but vulva, that's when the clitoris is going to be stimulated. Whereas 80% of women, the clitoris is actually further up and it's more centimetres away, and it actually doesn't get any physical contact whilst having the penis penetrate. So it's, as I said, not compatible. Not good, right?
Right.
Yeah. And,
Well, there could be improvements made, you'd think, wouldn't there?
well, that's what this is about, right? Learn how we work so that we can work with ourselves.
Work with what we've got.
Work with what we've got, rather than to take the Victorian concept where sex is about penetration. That's really what it's about, hey? And I talk to young men all the time, today included different men, and he said to me, that's not what I see in the porn. And I'm like, that is
possum.
I know. Yeah, pornography is not good education, because pornography is predominantly about penetration as well. There's a little bit of tokenistic something on the way, but yeah. So basically, when people get this right, they either spend, first base, second base on the woman experiencing clitoral stimulation, and that can be touch, that can be a vibrator, or that can be oral sex, and she orgasms, and then she wants to have penetrative sex, because women have the superpower of multiple orgasms, don't they?
They do.
Men do not.
Sucked in.
Yeah, right.
Can't have all the fun.
No, I think it levels the playing field a bit. And then base 3 and home run is penetration. And so that's basically how we're designed. But the big bee in my bonnet is people don't know. They actually don't know how we're designed. Drives me a bit nuts. Yeah. And I don't really see schools teaching this.
No, they didn't when I was at school. Not sure about today, but I'm assuming not.
No, I think sex ed is very much about STIs, and about anatomy and about
reproduction and
menstruation, how it's normal to have a wet dream, have an erection. I don't think they actually teach sex. So, and here's the thing: I'm talking a lot. You should share, but most adults don't know this. So how can they teach the kids? And then kids don't know this. How can they teach each other? And porn doesn't. So where do we get this information?
And I don't know how schools would teach this, and
how to have sex.
Yeah, I don't know how that would fit in with the curriculum and be passed through. But you are so right in saying it needs to be.
Yes.
Because it's essential.
Yeah.
And our kids are getting their sex ed from porn.
Exactly. Which is that you
And-
walk up to a woman and suddenly she's sexually aroused and she'll orgasm with you in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. And she won't have pubic hair and she'll have really big boobs.
She will. She will. And then she'll
But-
be grateful to you forever. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's really sad.
So that sounds like we watch a lot of porn.
I really don't. Oh,
That's what people have told me it's like, so.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's a major issue. It's so available right now, and it's this is real distortion.
And the kids are seeing this from such a young age.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, actually. I've had a lot of child clients who have been really traumatized by seeing stuff well beyond their time and not being able to process what that means.
I remember being so fearful when my kids were little, getting on the bus in our little country town and sitting on the bus for half an hour.
Why?
With kids up to 17 and 18-year-olds with devices, because
Okay.
you know what's going to be on a 17-year-old boy's device, and how long is it before your kid who's sitting 3 seats away sees it or hears it or that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. It almost needs to be a warning. This is not real sex. This is fiction. Do not think that this happens. Yeah.
I know that I've actually said that to my son, but he just looks at me and says nothing because it's completely embarrassing and his mother knows nothing anyway. But I hope it sinks in at some point.
Well, we'll never know.
No, I hope to never know. But I'm just doing my motherly duty out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other two things that comes up, and let's just wrap it up, right? Because why not cover it all? But the good old G spot and the good old prostate.
I was going to ask you,
Are
the
we going
G spot.
there? Okay, so it's not true that it's a G spot. It's called a G area.
An area.
It's an area because it's not. Because I think that it's really important. If people say it's a G spot, they're like, "Oh, have I got the spot?" Do you know what I mean? Have I got it?
Like, you know how when you can scratch a dog and his leg starts going if you get the spot?
There's this landing spot and you've got to get the X. The truth is that the G, it's an area of nerve endings on the inside of the vagina. Happily to say it's a vagina, not a vulva, because it's the inside area. And it's almost like if you were to say, come here, and you kind of, how do you explain that?
I have no idea what.
Basically, it's on the side of the belly button. Does that make sense? It's like on the front part of the anatomy.
Yeah. So on the front wall.
The front wall. Thank you. The belly button front wall.
So what's the point of it? Why is it there? And
Okay.
why is it where it is?
Okay, so this pisses... Sorry, can I swear? This really, really, really upsets me.
Yeah.
If you read about this, they say, oh, well, women report. Like it's some sort of not established scientific fact. And just because it's been spoken of by women that, well, maybe it's true or maybe it's not.
Maybe they've just made it up. It's in their head.
Incredibly patronising if you read the literature on this. But basically on the inside wall, on the outer wall, like the belly button side, there's an area and there's just another big clump of nerve endings.
But why?
Well, no one knows that.
Oh.
I did actually read up on that, and the big answer is we don't know. We're doing well to acknowledge it, and it's called the G spot, but it's not. It's actually an area. It's like quite a significant area, I guess.
People, she's got her fingers in a circular.
Looks like
a 50-cent piece.
Yeah, I do. Sorry. I know, I'm like all non-verbal to you. And it's this area, it's a clump of nerve endings. And what's really interesting is when the woman is neutral, so she's not sexually aroused, that's not an area to go for because she has to become sexually aroused for those nerve endings to really kind of wake up. So you can't really start off with the G area. You've got to start off with a lot of arousal. Maybe you've already had an orgasm, so you're already kind of, the machine's really working for the woman. Then the G area wakes up and says, hey, I'm over here, let's play.
Yep.
And that's when the woman can have another orgasm or the first orgasm, and that's to do with kind of stimulating that G area. And that can be with fingers or that can be with sex toys or a penis.
I was going to say a penis.
A penis can be handy at that point. So, yeah, but the point is that the woman has to be really quite aroused for that to be awake and working well. So you can't go cold to the G spot, G area. It doesn't quite work. So it's kind of, that's the second base, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that's the thing. People don't talk about the G area.
Well, it used to be a big conversation. Maybe I'm thinking back when I was in my teens.
Was it kind of
I don't know.
elusive?
Yeah, it was like the magical, mystical G-spot. And if you'd found
Heard of the
it...
G area?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really amazing is that there's all the different parts of the body and they all experience different sensations, and that's really lovely. Yeah. So what do you know about the prostate?
How did I know? My next question was...
Let's go there.
I don't know much about the prostate. I know where it is. But no, you enlighten me.
Well, I think a lot of women probably should have prostate envy. I'm not a guy. I don't know. But basically, anatomically, I can say, obviously, that in the prostate area has got another clump of lovely nerve endings.
Yes,
So
that's
it's
what I was
almost
going to
like
ask
we've
you.
got
So is that like the male G-spot?
Yeah, it is.
G area.
Area. That's right. It's not quite sexy, is it? G area. Doesn't sound very good. G spot sounds very elusive.
But it sounds more achievable.
I know. Take the pressure off.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, the prostate has these nerve area, and when there is anal play for men, then that gets stimulated, and that's very pleasant and can lead to orgasm. So that's why men enjoy anal play, and it's really interesting that this is about consent and people saying, hey, I want to play with this part of myself or I don't, and it's up to the individual. But I think it's just so important that there's no judgment because it's your body. You can do whatever you want. And, there's those people who are into that, those who are not, totally fine. I don't like when there's judgment. That's my issue.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah.
There you go.
Not really spoken about, really.
No.
Have you noticed?
Well, I don't know. I'm probably at a stage in life where none of this gets spoken about very much.
But that's normal. My point is, has it previously been spoken
Yes.
about? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have had conversations
Yeah.
and knowledge and enlightenment. I used to read Dolly magazine.
Dolly. Dolly. Good old Dolly.
And Cleo.
Yeah.
And Dolly Doctor.
What, really?
Yeah. You know what Dolly Doctor was?
Oh, not really.
No? Okay. That'll be another podcast. We'll talk about that.
Or not. Anyway, I just love the idea of getting all of these really kind of lovely facts out there. And
So when you were explaining this to this young gentleman today,
yep.
what was his reaction?
Oh no, I've done everything wrong. I've got a lot to learn.
Oh, poor.
Yeah, it was. But I don't mean to sound. I don't mean to sound critical, but I can honestly say it's a really common conversation where there just is not the understanding of the need for foreplay for women.
If you're not told, how do you know?
There isn't, and there's an assumption like, oh, right, we're going to have sex, we're going to go have penetration, you're going to love it, and you're going to orgasm like me. That's basically the crunch.
And what's the go with if your husband washes up, that's foreplay? That's shit.
Well, I don't think it's the woman's job that the man's helping with. I think that they're just doing their share of rowing.
Yeah, it doesn't turn me on. I love it, but it's not turning me on.
Well, I think it's more a case of if they don't ever do those things, it's a permanent turn off.
Yes, possibly.
By default.
Yes, I can understand the nuance of the...
But you're not doing me a favour, buddy. You're doing your share. Yeah.
And it would actually be a turn off if they were doing it in the hope of gaining some brownie points for later on.
I'm with you. There's a lot of broader issues there. Okay,
Anyway,
everyone.
I've just taken that completely on another tangent.
Oh, well, I love talking about this stuff because I just want it to be just bread and butter, totally out there, totally comfortable,
These are the episodes that my friends love when we talk about this
we get
sort of stuff.
a lot of ratings. Now, Kirsten has just been teasing me because I was saying, apparently we have to ask listeners to subscribe.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And I got the language right.
Yes. Kirsten didn't realise that you can subscribe to her podcast.
Well, it's not my world.
Which helps with ratings and, getting it out there and that sort of thing. And then it also helps you because you'll never miss out. I have my podcast that I subscribe to you.
I should hope so.
But lots of other podcasts too, so I don't miss out. And you get notifications through that there's a new one dropped and you think, oh, that's what I'm listening to next.
Great. Well, that sounds really...
So,
everyone,
yes.
can you do that? Can everyone jump on and do that? That'd be
They
great.
possibly already have, love. You may be the only one that hasn't.
I will go and...
But if you haven't, please subscribe.
Thank you. And also any feedback or any requests or any, hey, let's talk about this issue. Honestly, today I had clients and I said, hey guys, doing two podcasts, but we're doing 3 actually. What topics do you want? And I got all these ideas. I'm like, thank you.
We need feedback because...
So tell us the ideas of clinical areas. We can pretty much cover everything. Yeah. And we can chew the fat on most
I've got an opinion on most things.
Excellent.
May not be educated or worthwhile, but anyway.
Thank you, darling.
Okay. So if you want to find Kirsten, once again, her webpage is kirstenhunterauthor.com. Facebook, Kirsten Hunter Author, as well as Instagram, and her Twitter handle is Kirsten Hunter AU. Her YouTube channel is Psych in Your Car, and Signposts for Living with Dr. Kirsten Hunter is this podcast series.
Which is what I forgot to say at the beginning.
Which you will all be subscribing to now. Hit subscribe, people.
Including me.
Including Kirsten, yes.
I'm such a dag. So you're done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.